I can jump in because hopefully I don't get too deep, but I didn't talk a little bit about like my dad. My dad was a Black Panther.
Yes.
He married my mom when she was 16 and he was 18. He raised us. Um, he was a strong personality, and what we call old school, right? And I think at a younger age, just kind of quick to anger. He would go to work, be gone all day, maybe all night. But he'd always say he'd get him to go to work, or he'd be there for sports. I mean, I really looked up to my dad. And there were things, legacy-wise, I can tell that he inherited from his father. And not unlike your story, he met his dad, when he was an adult. And actually his name isn't Quinn, it's Jordan. And his father didn't want anything to do with him. He had anger issues. And so when you think about, and I'll just be real clear here, like one of the things that me and my three brothers did is how are we going to raise our kids when we have kids? Yes. And one of the things that we remembered was in those instances, and there were plenty, you can never forget how you felt. You wanted a protector. Somebody that you look up to, and you ask yourself the question, if he loved me, then why does he allow his anger to get to a place? I'm going somewhere with this. And I've always had a good relationship, but we could have been a lot closer. I'm sure I picked up all his health habits, high blood pressure, but also it's kind of due to the anger. And it was funny, a couple years ago, which is amazing. I have a good relationship with my father. I love him. I honor him as much as I can. I got to thank him and acknowledge and forgive him for his survival behaviors. And you learn, like, generationally, the example he saw, maybe he was just replicating that. But then my father went from graduating Garfield, going to the University of Washington, becoming the first African-American cameraman at Cairo, highest-ranking African-American in the insurance business. And I say all that, I'm proud of it, but the whole point is the pressures of being the first or the one in the room. And that maybe that gets internalized and brought home. And being the recipient of that, I wanted to break some generational curses by, one, showing my children how to deal with their anger. Two, living a healthier lifestyle, communicating, because that's another generational thing is you don't have to be tough. We need wellness. And when we have struggles, let's talk about them. And so in some ways, I also thank my father for that as well. And I remember for a while, I was pretty upset when they got divorced and he distanced himself. And then I went away to Morehouse. And I just remember really thinking about, like, why isn't he here? Why isn't, but there were reasons. But it wasn't until I forgave him for the situation did I actually get to connect with him and talk to him and learn even more of the history about our family and his experiences. And then I'll close with this. It's funny when you talk about forgiveness and grace. Remember I told you about my father not really knowing his father. He called me and my brothers because his father had passed in Portland. And this was kind of the first time he said, hey, regardless of what's going on, can we all go down there and can you support me? So we go to the funeral, and his family said, we don't recognize y'all in the family. You're not his son.
Wow.
And it was a time to kind of bond on our connection and kind of renew our love and respect for one another. And then also just reflect on his experience, because his father was never in the home. Again, like really focusing on generational things that we want to change and how that ties to raising boys. I'm very intentional about that process. And again, a lot of it's coming from those experiences of wanting somebody to talk to when I was in high school or my senior year, or picking colleges, or, you know, and that support. I had to kind of find it with the broader family that was around me and kind of figure it out. Like you all said, it's like we have this extended family that come in and help. But again, I go back to that forgiving him for survival behaviors. That moment, I mean, he cried and thanked me in that moment. I'm glad he did it. He perceived it well, but it was another bonding moment for us, and we are as close as we can be. He knows he's always there for me. If I need something, he'll be there. But I'm so proud of like his legacy. So sorry to go on, but I mean it's one of those things I hold on to.